Hey guys, welcome to the Shack. This is episode 40. We're super excited to make it to 40. Yeah, right on.
The big
We were going to have
40.
cake, but nobody knew it was 40 until we
It was pizza day.
we had
so.
pizza day. Yeah, so it's good to go. So the gang's all here. I'm LT.
Scooter here, man on the inside.
Brian Silverback.
Mikey, Nick, and Sam.
No Tyler today.
Yeah, he's on.
The youngsters.
Yep,
He's babysitting.
he's doing a special mission today,
Mm.
so that's cool. So what's been going on? It's been a
Ain't nice
month-ish
stuff.
since we did our last podcast. A little longer,
Or 4.
two? Nah, it hasn't been that long. Okay.
I changed the roof on my Land Rover.
Yes, you did.
Was
Which
that
was
leaking
cool.
too?
I was impressed by that. Cut
You
the
know-
window. That looked good.
Thank you,
That
LT.
was-
Shut up.
I didn't
Nick.
hear it, so I'm just going to walk on by. Silverback, what's going on?
Just monkeying around.
That's it.
Put 'em-
Wow.
Hey, he's got that one.
Hey, tell your joke
Yeah.
from this morning.
Or no.
Yeah,
or
no.
no. That's how we'll lose
Yeah.
driver.
Mikey, anything exciting?
No.
Wow, you guys are just okay.
I mean, I do kind of
Enjoy
want to
that.
tell it.
Nope, too bad.
Do it.
Oh, too late. We already passed you. Nicholas.
Getting ready for
Oh, yeah.
Blade.
We had a pouting.
Blade.
Yeah, getting ready for Blade.
Is that coming up?
Absolutely.
might
3 weeks.
Is it?
Ish.
But
Sammy,
by the
anything
time you hear this, it'll probably be
Anything
Blade.
what?
going on?
No.
Okay.
Tell him
That's like ditto.
finger.
I have 9.5 reasons why shop safety is important.
Yeah.
Other than that,
You got boo-boo finger, but he's getting over it. Well, we
Another
had the
stick.
pouting, which was
Pouting.
2 weeks ago, and it was
Awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
Great weather.
I was going to say, could we beat the weather? Literally,
nope.
it was spot on. What a beautiful thing.
That was
Yeah.
no, I did not.
And
That
it
was-
barely rained, so you can't even count that.
We had good events within the pouting. All the cabins got rented, I think, but one. I think somebody
Oh, yeah?
had
Oh.
rented another one.
The cabins are nice. We did that this year.
Yeah.
Very
that,
cool.
That was such a good time. Then we had classes. Nick was teaching lock picking. We had slingshot
Slingshot.
shooting.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. Thanks to
Simple shot.
Simple Shot, right?
Yes. Adam at Simple Shot, thank you very much.
You did. But yeah, the pouting was a great success, and we are now in what we call our Blade Show Blitz. So we're getting a bunch of knives ready for the Blade Show. And as last year,
Correct.
we're going to have 2 shows, one here at the shop and the one in Atlanta. So
Saturday, June 8th, 10 to 2. Be here
you
at the shop if you're in the area.
There's probably gonna
if
be
not,
good food to eat.
tune in
Yeah,
to.
Definitely going to be food.
Or wait,
Pout
no.
House?
Hey, they're better.
Is that, yeah, they're just on the Pout House, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're not
You
a
should
Pout
join
House
the
fan,
Pout House.
join the Pout House because you'll get early access to everything.
This
Yeah,
is the
forgot about that.
time if you've been
Yeah.
waiting.
Yeah, this is the one. We have got some smoking stuff going to Blade. They are nice.
Fly.
Oh yeah, they're doing good. But aside from that, today we thought we would talk to you guys. We haven't really talked about kitchen knives much, so we brought some of the ones that we build out here, and we're going to talk to you about them and just go around the table and kind of get some feedback on them. I have lately been using some or all of our kitchen knives.
Mm-hmm.
Elaine's is it? It's called a sous chef, right? The prep guy. So
Mhm.
I'm Elaine's sous chef, and I like that. She's like, she just sets up the end of the table, puts all the stuff down there she wants cut, puts the jars out, fill this one with this one, that kind of thing. And I just
Oh, jeez.
nah, probably mastered. No. Have I tried it? I'm sure. Yeah. But mastered, no. So I want to go over some of the knives. We have our
Yep.
collection, and then we have a collection that we built for Paul Rogowski. He is a world-renowned chef who is with Les Stroud on a PBS show called Wild Harvest.
Wild.
So
Harvest.
if you guys haven't tuned into, I think it's just about on every PBS channel. They're on season 3.
Yes.
They're going into season 3. Very interesting concept. Besides Paul having his own extremely 5-star restaurant, or
Michelin star.
okay, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah,
All the various things. I don't understand part of chef.
okay. But he designed these 5 knives around what he uses all the time. So we're going to go talk about them, and then we're going to talk about our camp kitchen knives and why we designed them and what we're doing with them.
And that one new one there.
That
That's
new
cool.
knife that we have, the La Fremont.
That one right there is
buddy,
my favorite.
is a great
That one?
knife.
Yeah.
This one's
that
my favorite.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start with Chef Paul's knives, because these come together during the pandemic. We basically were talking with Les and Paul, and they wanted a set of chef's knives designed for Paul to use. So it kind of came down to, they were sending Mike and I pictures, and then I was drawing these from the picture, roughly the size, and then I would lay a ruler down and we would send pictures back and forth to Canada. Remember that? Until we dialed in the sizes and the shapes and everything. And then as soon as we had the opportunity, we started making them. Now, what makes these a little bit interesting over just one of our standard knives that we put together is that we're doing what we call a grind through cutlery.
Mm-hmm.
So
Pretty cool.
it's hard to maybe understand, but just we grind the whole knife tip to tail, tapered top to bottom.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
he means from spine to cutting edge,
Right.
the knife is tapered, and from the handle, from the tip of the blade to the handle, it is also tapered.
Right. So you're getting a top to bottom taper, and one of the reasons is weight, because doing something like that in a full tang knife, it's going to help take some of the weight out of the handle portion of it, which making it a much better balanced knife all the way around. This chef's knife was, kind of based on what he really wanted. Now, another interesting feature on this, it is a full taper top to bottom, but then we finish it off with a one-sided grind. So like,
Chisel.
I guess like a
Chisel
chisel, yeah.
grind, yeah.
This knife, the chef's knife that we designed for him, is such a great using knife. It's a bear to grind.
It is.
I mean, Sammy and I,
They are
These-
quite tricky,
these are a bear.
but they
grind.
turn out fantastic.
But yeah, when they are done. Now, what did when Paul was doing this, he had a certain test that we had to accomplish. You remember?
No.
Mikey?
Carrot test?
The carrot test. You don't remember we had to pass the
Carrot.
carrot test?
Print through a slice of carrot.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah. So,
No.
Remember that?
so
I
he
didn't
was-
know that.
he sat down and he's like, okay, guys, this is what I want you to do. What was it again, Mikey?
Be able to read print through a sliced carrot.
Yeah. So he wanted to be able to
That's
slice
cool.
carrots thin enough. So, being a professional chef, I mean, he knows what he's doing.
Oh,
And we were able to pull that off and build a robust knife, because on the show they're foraging. So they're going out in the woods. And he actually has told us with the chef's knife, he has chopped limbs and, did a little bushwhacking with the chef's knife.
Mm.
So that's
I
kind
don't know
of
if
cool.
I'd approve that.
I know. I don't know if I want to. We're still at kitchen knife.
I know that's ground
He's not.
thin, and then we make it thinner, and then I
Yeah.
sharpen it, and it gets a little thinner.
Right.
Oh,
But the
geez.
chef's knife, I
Okay.
mean, I'm going to pass it. All of us have handled it, but we're going to each get an opportunity to handle it. We added our thumb scallops that we have on our Genesis knives and
All the
our other
Genesis
knives,
And the machine.
and they turned out to be nice pinch points for this knife.
Yeah.
Having that thumb scallop able to grab onto it in a few different extra places. But
As you can
this
see, LC is gripping the handle in
yeah, the way- yeah,
a bunch of different positions.
Don't
But-
be like that.
yeah.
Don't be
But
like
that chef's knife,
Skeeter.
now, one of the things you may think, oh, it's chisel grind, so it's ground on one side. No, they're sharpened
On
just
both.
like a regular knife.
Yeah.
And the
Correct.
beauty of the taper that we're talking about, it is very hard to visualize, honestly, just from the way we're describing it.
So you should buy one.
So you should buy one.
Or,
But-
no, it's not diving to the one side because of the full taper. It's
Right.
it's
So,
beautiful. It's
the whole
beautiful.
thing is more like a wedge, and it's centered on the cutting edge, if
Yeah.
that makes sense for people that are interested in doing vegetables or meat processing like that, standard kitchen stuff. This will cut just like any symmetrically ground knife, and the aesthetic of
Only
it I think
better.
is very pleasing.
Absolutely.
And it's great for running along your cutting board, sweeping up all your cut pieces.
Oh yeah, because definitely flat sided. Yeah, the one side's perfectly flat. It is a
True.
good looking knife, no doubt. Please go to the website and check them out. I wish we could show you guys these.
It
things.
is. The brown burlap with the large brass pins looks classy.
I really appreciate the size of this one.
Oh yeah.
This,
What a
what's
great
this,
piece.
14 maybe? What's it?
Yeah,
I don't remember what the overall.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't want to, sorry, I don't want to
Schneider
jingle
put that
jangle
up
my
there.
card, my
Too
Schneider
late.
starter kit.
There.
There goes that kit.
oh,
A 14-inch.
good thing
Yeah.
you know the guy that's
And,
sharp.
That was nice.
wow.
Yeah.
It is good looking, and I can only imagine this is a pain in the butt to grind,
Oh yeah.
That-
The grind wide,
chisel grind.
no doubt.
I can tell you, it sharpens up. Very, very good.
Great looking product at the
Yeah,
end, and
just
what
a-
a great user.
A few passes, and then I buff it, and it will. Well, I hear it'll cut carrots so thin.
Yeah.
You can read the National
Well,
Enquirer.
There you go.
Our buddy Andy had bought one
At the last Christmas
was it a
show.
Christmas show.
Yeah.
Okay, and then he had mentioned. Remember, he says, "Man, this thing is a beast." He really like.
oh,
He's
for
been doing
sure.
a lot of food prepping as well, and he's like, "Yeah, that thing is a beast."
It is. It's good proportion, height to length. It's
Yeah.
got a very good handle on it. Thumb scallops are a nice addition. Hook at the end, kind of. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Ryan, you do some kitchen time, don't you?
Yep. I like the clearance on these. So a lot of chef's knives are kind of knuckle bangers
Yeah.
when you're cutting, and it's got a little bit of a belly to it too. So you're not always flat, but it's got a nice, like the handle is a nice height to keep you off the cutting board.
Right. Right.
It's
True.
just a nice height for, I've got decent sized hands and you're not banging your knuckles on the cutting board.
Careful, you cut that mic cord.
You just dang near cut your mic cord.
Oh,
Well,
It went
Brian
up
will be
off the air.
screaming the rest of the show.
we are passing these around and
Yeah,
fondling
well, you
them
can-
as we talk to you.
Mikey, what's your thoughts?
I really like the thumb scallops on this one
Mm.
because of the way that I tend to hold knives, like this one I'm in the kitchen.
He's pinching the front of the handle.
Yeah, so it's a pinch grip between your forefinger and thumb. And the way the thumb scallops, we call them thumb scallops, but they don't have to be just used for your thumb.
Right.
Now,
No, you can index with your fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
now for me, to quote our good friend David Anderson, who would be a great guest to have on if we talk about kitchen knives again,
Mm.
I have slightly larger than average hands, and this one fits great.
Ow, he went there.
I did. They, I have to buy bigger gloves. So, but this one fits my hand really good. And, it's just a great overall knife, I think.
This would also look
Way
good
to
if
go,
we could
Sam.
somehow get this knife into a hacker slasher movie. It has enough puzzles on
No. Chock full of bad ideas today.
It would look-
these.
yeah.
It's like a killer chef kind of.
Yes. But I will say in Scott's favor right there, every year, him and I get together and we mad science up some Halloween knives for the Pouthouse guys in October. So keep your eyes peeled. If you're not in the Pouthouse, you should join so you can see there might be a stabby kitchen knife edition.
Hey, you never know.
It would be interesting.
I really like this knife. They're difficult to grind. We grind them super thin to spec, and they turn out fantastic. I don't own one yet, but one day I'm going to have the entire Les kit in my kitchen, or the Paul kit in my kitchen.
Now, are you going to do the leather roll or are you skipping the leather roll?
I don't know. I'm going to start with the knives because I feel like I just need one of everything.
What about like a knife block that would?
Hold everything. And
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, we have two
Yeah,
knife blocks now.
We gotta get them.
Yeah.
this will probably be the first one I get out of the kit. Is the chef knife.
Yeah, if I
Yeah.
could only have
Like-
one, it would be that one.
And that's funny because if you do like an internet search, the most, like, if you could only have one, what is it? Chef's knife is definitely that knife. If
Oh yeah,
you
and that's a
have-
nice
if
size.
you only
too.
have one good knife, which one? Chef's knife, definitely, because you can do a lot with that. You can make it do a lot of the little stuff. So moving on to the next one, which is the slicing knife. Now, I have not got a lot of time on this knife, so I can't really give you an opinion other than it's a great looking knife. It's long, thin, it's flexible. It has holes in it to help relieve the stuck meat or whatever you were slicing. Yeah, get the friction down. Same grind technology as the other one. Very thin, feels great. Now, I have seen this knife used because we've given it out and I've seen it used on a whole bunch of stuff, briskets and ribs, pork loins, but I do not have one of these in my kitchen. I don't have a use for this particular one, but it is a knife. Now, you want to talk about another knife that is extremely hard to grind? This one, 30 seconds, and what would you say, 18?
Well, let me just get the ruler. No, 14 and a hair. 14 and a quarter, give or take.
So it's a lot of blade. Have you used a?
No, not
Yeah,
this one.
use the
I have
slicer knife. I
sharpened
do love that.
all of them, of course, and now this one has a rounded tip, of course,
Yes.
where all the other ones have a normal sort of tip. So I just kind of go by eye where to finish sharpening this thing. But it's correct, Sammy. It's so thin. A few passes on a belt and a few on the buffer, and she's sharp. Now I do have to watch. Let's see what the handle is on there. 5-inch handle. So the rest of that is blade and thin, and you can see here, boys. You can see that this thing flexes. So when I'm sharpening this, like on that little 1-inch wide wheel, I can't buff this like a normal knife. You have to buff it with less pressure, but a few more passes, because it will bend, and then you'll miss some spots.
Yeah.
So I did figure that out. But
Yeah, this is fillet knife flexible.
yeah, this is
This is
for that
definitely-
kind of stuff. And yes, with the speed holes in it, it will release the fish or whatever you're cutting there.
But man, what a cutter! What an absolute!
I know that it
slicing knife. What a great name!
it will wreak havoc on an O-line catalog.
But Brian, the feel on that, right? It weighs nothing.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Scooter talked about the rounded end, and this is the one that people at shows always ask if it's a bread knife, and certainly it would cut the out of some bread.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But that's really not what it's designed for. It's designed more
No,
for
bread
meat
knife
and-
serrated, right?
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
so-
Although we can have that discussion another day. You don't really need it for a bread knife, but
Okay, sorry.
it's got kind of that look. Can you tell that's a personal pet peeve of mine?
no.
Why you have a saw in your kitchen?
Exactly.
Now
you're
listen,
doing-
boys, if we're gonna have this discussion about smooth edge or serrated edge for a bread knife, I want to see a loaf of bread.
Yeah, we don't have that.
Won't
today.
you bake one up?
I'm
Have
not the
Dad
one with
bake
the
one.
pet
Bring it in.
peeve.
All right. Well, we'll get some of those enormous sandwiches.
No, not.
Mrs. Dad.
I mean,
That-
yeah, but not all the time. Two little people make bread making difficult.
This is again one that I have not used much, but every time that I see people cut with this, it looks absolutely effortless. And
Yes.
Probably hours of footage of people using this knife, and every time they're just like, can't believe how smooth it cuts a variety of things.
Just,
Just about everything cut.
I did that.
just recently, Bill down at Georgia Bushcraft, I think you got some film on Red Eyed Hog
Yes.
doing it.
Red-eyed.
I think he was throwing some stuff up in the air and catching it on the end of the knife or something, or slicing it. Chef's knife. Okay. Yeah.
I think 20 pounds of brisket with it.
Yeah. Good stuff. But that is a great knife.
Now for me, yes, I love it as a slicer and as a user. I have not had any time on this one at all. And as a finisher person, I gotta say, I hate doing those lightning holes, but at the same time, they do seem to work. Everybody that I've talked to about it, they seem to really enjoy that. So it's an interesting thing to have to finish, but at the same time, again, from a user perspective, I see the benefit. I don't know. I feel like if I owned this knife, I would have to make like a lot more turkeys or hams or something.
But
and
that's
be-
not bad stuff.
I'm not saying it is, but like I don't know. I like it, but at the same time, currently in my world, it just doesn't fit.
Right.
But it's still cool.
Sam, we got to talk about from not how hard it is to grind because we.
But I was going to start there. Can I still start there?
Sure.
Positive.
Of the set, this is probably the hardest one to grind because it is so thin
Yeah.
and so long.
and
But
narrow.
just
Don't
like the other
forget,
ones,
that's important.
it comes out fantastic.
Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the way we grind knives, we have a 2-inch belt, and that's a
Wide, 2-inch
nine
wide.
and a half, 10 inches of blade.
It's
That
long,
is
yeah.
extremely flexible.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, 2-inch wide. You're right.
Yeah.
So we're grinding 2 inches at a time, and when you have to go down a long, flexible piece of steel like that,
Hard
it
not to
is
bend it, huh?
hard.
Yeah.
It is
I
work.
believe it.
It is work. I mean, that's that we save them for last every cycle.
Yep, sure do.
And then we set up, and then it's like, okay, let's.
Now, from
It
the
takes a
finishing
minute.
side, except for those holes on that one, they're actually these are all of them are very nice to finish for me from a working,
It means
manufacturing
the handle.
perspective.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, again, like everybody else, I have yet to actually use this knife,
Looks like we need a pass.
Yeah, we need.
but I'm sure I would come up with something to slice in the kitchen.
Maybe we should
And
buy
probably
a side
love
of
it.
beef
Mm.
and then just slice it up and split it and send it home.
There you go.
Like that. So the next knife in this collection is the boning knife. Now, I have a lot of time on this boning knife. This, guys, I have to say, is one of my favorite knives in the kitchen.
The Pepper Destroyer.
Yeah, this thing is wonderful. At first, boning, you're thinking meat. Well, we do a lot of meat and we dry it, so I can cut some really nice thin strips with this and totally love it. Again, big handle,
Yep.
light knife. Saturday I could be in the kitchen with her for 5 hours when we're doing food prep for the month, and I'm on this knife for the whole time, and it does not fatigue you. It's great. So then I was liking it so much, I started using it on the vegetables, slicing peppers to dip in the hummus and all that stuff, and slicing thin. Oh, this is one of my. It's like, if you're gonna come and steal my knives, please leave that one. That's one that you leave.
This is
Hey, sweetheart.
quite light, especially in the front.
But the still got the full handle.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Looks as good as the other ones with the scales and the pins and the brown and the brass. It jives nice. I can tell you, same as the other ones, this sharpens up fantastic. Comes out very sharp. And I will say this, I haven't used this knife a ton myself, but from sharpening other things that we used to get from that meat company or
Yeah, years ago.
all of the boning knives, I don't know if they were just sharpened a whole lot. It had a handle like this, and then the steel was like halfway up the plunge line, and then this real thin blade. They were a bear to sharpen.
Yeah, they were.
This is way nicer.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe those just had a ton of miles on them. I
Well-
don't know, but to call this a boning knife doesn't look as like those other ones,
I know your brain's thinking that old one, right?
but this is way nicer.
See, when I think
Scott is referencing him and I used to do sharpening for a local meat market. The guy would bring every couple of weeks. He'd
Yeah,
bring us
a bunch.
40 knives. And then
That's how I got
I'll
my
be back in a couple
shop.
hours because he's working the meat market. He needed his knives back, and we would set up and just go. And that's how you got good at sharpening, just sitting there over and over. Because they wouldn't bring them when they were a little dull. They
Yeah.
brought them when they were
They-
nicked and
They
messed
looked
up.
like demolition derby cars.
Yeah. So
See, when we first said we were doing the boning knife for them, I thought my mind went to the meat processing kits that you get like around hunting season,
Right.
where it's all the it's got the short saber and the boning knife and a couple little knives, the capers and stuff. But this one, every time I've ever handled one of those, it's a similar kind of thing where they are chunky and the handles you're sort of hit or miss on it. This thing though is like the Corvette, I think, of the set, really, where it's not real. There's not a ton of blade, but there's more than enough to get everything done.
oh yeah.
This is a 5 7/8 inch blade,
Hmm.
and it's about an inch high. Whereas those other boning knives I'm talking about, half inch
Oh yeah.
or less, it seemed like they were very strange.
The bell pepper slayer, I'm telling you, that thing. Will,
This is
Oh,
much nicer.
that's a
Tear it up.
sweetheart.
Yeah, I mean like when you talk traditional boning knife like that, it's almost like a fillet knife with more of a
But
curve to it and thick.
yeah.
And this is interesting because it doesn't quite have a spear point tip to it, but it's similar to that. To me, this seems like if you were actually boning out a carcass of some kind, would be much more useful to get into where you need to get into, like around the bones and into the
Right.
joints and things like that.
Because it's
Whereas-
not an upswept tip.
Yeah, it's not a.
Yeah.
Those are more like, to me, that's a slicer, where this is like would actually work for boning out a carcass. So it seems to make more sense in that vein.
But even that handle, that is such a comfortable handle. Again, simplicity though. There's not.
Saying Brian to take this deer hunting. process here.
Well,
Okay.
I agree.
I'll take that. You want this one, or I'll take that?
Doesn't matter.
All right.
Got to get a deer.
Do very, very well.
Yeah, when you're breaking down a deer, I think so
Yeah.
too. Agreed.
Hmm. Is it sturdy enough?
Oh yeah.
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 Oh, okay.
And the burlap handle would be nice. You get a little slippery in the deer.
Yeah.
and-
Hmm.
We're not chasing
Alright.
him down and sticking him with it. is
I
it?
mean,
Well,
I know.
if you're good enough, you're not.
I don't know.
mm,
Just take the whole set, throw them at the deer.
Just by walking up to it.
I already kind
Oh,
of said my piece.
Nick's
earlier,
done.
So I'm a fan of this one. If that wasn't clear,
This one's not nearly as bad to grind as a slicing knife. Still just as thin and just as flexible. Apparently, I'm going to put some time behind this one this fall, so I'll get back to you on that.
Dig it.
But again, really comfortable hand or in the hand. The next knife in the collection is the turning knife, what Paul calls the turning knife.
Oh, Scooter loves this one.
This
It's his
this
favorite.
this was a, sharpening, maybe not so much, or not sharpening, grinding maybe not so hard as the sharpening side of this because of the
Easiest
shape.
one to grind.
Yeah. Again, a nice small paring knife sized hook blade, like a hawk bill. Again, I don't have any time on this particular knife. Everything about it feels good to me. Ergonomics all the way around. I think it's an interesting thing. I think Mikey has said that you feel like it's a great mushroom knife.
Yes.
You have been told it's a great mushroom knife or
And
something.
I have done a little bit of
Okay.
mushrooming with it, and it is an excellent cutter. for that.
Go ahead, Scott. You can
Go
just
ahead.
skip
Tell
it.
tell
bud.
him it's
It's
hard
fine.
to sharpen. I dare you.
It is hard to sharpen, and it's because of that curve. It goes the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I'd love to sharpen this side. That's not how this is designed. So I sharpen
And
this
for
side.
those that don't understand the sharpening, when you're coming across the belt, you're actually taking
I
the
am-
tip out if you're not careful.
Oh, very easily.
And Scooter
If
is
you've been to a knife class, you've seen that we sharpen edge up, and if the handle is in my left hand, as I come across the belt, my left hand goes down and toward me, which will wreck this knife in a half a second.
Yep.
So I've changed. Every knife in the shop gets sharpened basically the same, except this.
right
This
now.
gets the platen removed,
Mhm.
and I have a belt that I've ripped into thirds, so it's quite skinny, and it gets some gentle, numerous passes till I see the burr. Now buffing it, that's no problem. That's easy. It's the getting the initial burr. It's a little more difficult, and it's easy to screw up the tip. So I think I screwed up the very first one I sharpened.
Yeah.
And you guys went, that's not how we gave it to you. But
But
I got it
again,
nailed now. I just have to remember I got to use
Yeah, it was a
separate
learning curve.
belt.
for you.
Yeah, for sure. But now I can tell, like all the other knives, once this comes off the buffing wheel, if I have hit it right and did the burr correctly, it slices through the good old Uline catalog, same as all the other ones. But it is you got to slow down and concentrate. So you hopefully when they come through, there's a few sets, and I always do all of those together, just because I got to change the platen, change the belt. They all get sharpened at the same time, and then I compare them even. If one's a little duller than the other, it goes back and gets touched up, and they're all good when I'm finished. But it's a little bit of a challenge.
Kind of like a bat wing or.
Yeah,
Very similar, yeah.
sort of.
Same hawk bill kind of look.
Those were even more wacky curvy.
I think it's a neat little knife. It's definitely more, I would say, like a professional tool. This one, because you're cutting towards yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, it's if folks are familiar with the Vitarnox fruit knife, I mean, it's kind of like the ultimate expression of that knife.
It does share some DNA for sure.
But it's definitely more of a professional tool. You're not slicing down on a board with this because of the hawk bill. You're cutting towards your
Careful
thumb.
with your thumb there.
Yeah, no, I mean you're gonna have a piece of whatever it is in your hand, and you're gonna be cutting towards yourself. That's the thing. So it's definitely more of that professional tool, but it's a great little knife. And
Not-
once you know how to use it.
But not using your thumb as a backstop.
No.
See, I'd screw that up.
Exactly. But yeah, it's a neat little knife and very unusual. You won't see something else like this.
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought that this would be an excellent knife to try peeling potatoes with. I've just never had the opportunity.
That's just saying. And I just don't peel potatoes, so
I don't do that.
In the same spot as that knife.
as
That can be
We
arranged.
should.
well, when you bring that deer in,
They're deer.
We'll have some deer.
do
potatoes.
deer stew with
Deer and
Mike
tater.
got potatoes.
Take
Yeah.
that deer hunting and potato hunting.
Sweet.
I always kind of like this one because I feel like when you go to do a cut with it, it gathers in whatever you're working on. So like similar to what he's saying about the peeling potatoes thing or peeling an apple, how it's going around the curve with the blade.
Mhm.
I like that, and I do really like the aesthetic of it. I think it's very cool. Yeah, just a handy little paring knife, I think.
Right. And again, the handle's big enough to hold on to. It's not
yeah,
pinchy on the handle. So all of the handles on each one of these knives are very comfortable in the hand. They're simple.
Mhm.
They feel good.
This is the one though out of the set. Even though I like it, I might actually prefer our small powder from the other set, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
But everything else up to this point, yes. So I don't know. Maybe I'll have to build myself a custom set.
Yeah, we just gotta run it through, give it a fair run in the kitchen to
That's
see
true, too.
maybe there's some uses or ways to use it that you haven't thought of because you don't have one,
That's true.
and then give it a shot. It's like having a serrated knife, Brian. You know, there's things you can do with that knife.
I'm not saying we don't have a serrated knife. I'm just saying they're not necessary.
Gotcha.
This is the easiest one to grind, fastest one to grind
There you go. Out of the set.
out of the set. Yes. Again, I have no time behind this knife. I'm sure I'd find a use for it in the kitchen, and when I do end up getting my whole set, I'll let you know how that works out.
Mm-hmm. Now, the last knife in the Paul Rogowski collection or the Wild Harvest collection is the oyster knife. Now,
Mhm.
again, I
The
have to
most
say, I have
robust
to kind of
oyster
bow
knife
out
you will
because
ever
I
see.
don't eat oysters and I don't know much about it. However, went back and forth with some drawings, couple prototypes, got them up there, and then he got his first one and went out and used it. And his response to us was, "This is the best oyster knife I have ever used," because of it being a generous handle, number one, because he's shucking what, hundreds? Yeah, 150 oysters. Man, you're going to get fatigued if you don't have something. This has some weight to it. It stays in your hand. You just grab around it. Again, with the thumb scallops. It's double beveled on each side like a dagger, but only sharpened on the one side with a bit of a rounded point
Mhm.
so as not to just poke the point off and break the tip.
You don't
And
want to
it's-
hurt the oyster when you're shucking.
Yeah, I guess
Must
not.
have a safety tip.
So I can't really say a lot about this except it's neat. It's a cool looking knife, and Paul thinks it's works fantastic. So I'm in with that.
As long as Paul likes it,
Yeah,
this is what
That-
he designed.
exactly. He
He's the
designed the
chef.
knife, right? He's the
That's
one.
all that really matters.
And some of our guys in the Pound House are oyster guys.
I know one. I love oysters. However, if you take this to the restaurant and say, I'd like a plate of oysters, can you use this to shuck them? They're going to look at me funny. So I haven't done that yet. But
Oh, come on.
You could try.
this,
try it.
well, I don't know. No. All right.
So you actually have shucked oysters?
No. I
The
eat a
restaurant does it
bunch of
for
them.
Oh, okay. Because that's what I'm saying. I have
No.
not, so I don't know.
I've seen it done.
Okay.
AC Schlater there.
Yeah, I was
fella.
going to say Slater, but
I have not shucked them. Sorry, I can't.
Brian, you a shucker?
I am gonna let that go.
It is cool looking. Check it out on the website.
Yeah, I mean, it is by far the sturdiest, like forever knife for shucking oysters you will ever have. It's interesting too because of the thumb scallops. You get some options on how you hold this and how you come at the oyster.
Right.
I'm not an oyster shucker; I'm an oyster eater. But we do have a family friend who bought one, and he loves it. But I mean, it's not just holding it like this. You're able to come in depending on how you're holding the oyster. And
For
turn it
leverage,
with
right?
the thumb scalp.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Plus, you know, we were down. This was last year. We were down in Charleston at the Southeast Wildlife Expo,
Mhm.
and every knife maker who was there made custom oyster knives. I mean, it's
Really?
just everybody down there eats oyster, and this is by far the best looking, the sturdiest. All those don't even compare. The fact that it's got the four bevels, so you know it comes like almost like a dagger point. I think is a really good idea. It really would allow you to get in there and pop it open. Just great.
I love the way this knife feels in your hand.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about it.
Because like the potatoes, he doesn't have oysters running around the kitchen.
I mean, so oysters with deer and potatoes.
Potatoes and deer meat. Yeah.
I was about to
I
say,
probably wouldn't eat them anyhow.
you can't tell. We're all pretty landlocked here in Ohio.
Yeah.
But I love the ocean and I love oysters. This is the knife out of the set that I most want to try. That's about all I will say on it. The aesthetic of this one is a little odd to me, but it's a very purpose specific tool, and I can totally respect that. And again, if I have the opportunity in the near future, I plan on really using the heck out of it.
Yeah.
This is probably the most fun one to grind. 'Cause we don't do a whole lot of dagger
Yeah,
type
because you
stuff.
don't do daggers, right?
I don't oyster. I definitely don't shuck oysters. So I'm not sure that I would use it.
Not a shucker.
But if it's part of the kit, I'll have it just because I feel like I need it.
Yeah. As a complete kit, this comes in a beautiful leather roll. This is not an inexpensive kit, but as all of us have
Sure.
we've all handled them, and I could see your faces when you were handling the chef knife. It was like, oh yeah, this is. I mean, these, as Nick said, these are Cadillacs, man. These are
This is
premium.
professional grade.
This is pro grade.
Yep.
Paul designed a beautiful knife.
Mhm.
We brought it together. We're grinding it. And Sammy, Nick, I mean, we talked about the heat treat and the grinding on this, the learning curve. How many conferences and powwows did we have in the back trying to get
A
it?
lot.
I mean, these things worked us hard to get them the steel part done. Now,
All kinds
after
of
that,
adjustments,
you know, and
changing
then as
this and
Scott
that.
said, he had to relearn a new technique on sharpening the one knife. You know, and the thin ones had to kind of like, well, I've got to do this different.
Yeah, you're correct. Other than the big chef knife,
Mhm.
they all need just some tender love and care.
Yeah.
It's a specific tool.
It's a specific tool,
Jobs done specifically on it.
and for us to get all the techniques, you know, the grind through to get the full taper top to bottom, which is I'm super proud of. I think we do a fantastic job of that. These knives,
Yeah, they look good.
they're pro grade.
Yep.
So check them out on the website if you get a chance, because these are definitely worth keeping an eye on.
And buy a whole set, because why not have them all?
Yeah, I agree with Sam.
The way I'm looking at it anyhow.
Correct.
And we have sold many whole sets, so it's a cool thing. So I like that.
Stop for 1 second about the food roll.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because that thing is absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
It's a lot of money, but it's also like a half a cow.
Yeah. Spin at
Yep.
JRE killed it on building it. He left a live edge on it. You guys just got to go to the website and check it out. Yes, there's a strop
Yep.
in it, slot for every knife, a slot for a steel. It's got a shoulder strap because it's so cool. I mean,
And a
this is-
carry handle.
and a carry handle.
Yep.
Yeah.
You won't wear it out anytime soon.
This thing is a beaut. So definitely check that out. So those are the Paul Rogowski collection, which is a great set. And I have a few of them. I don't have everyone in this particular set, but I'm going to have to up my game because now I want to try that.
And which one of those is your favorite right now?
Right this second, the boning knife. Absolutely hands down. And because I think because I have more use for it, you know, as a chef's knife right now, I'm using our camp kitchen. So I haven't needed this one. So that's kind of where I'm going there. So now let's talk about the camp kitchen set. So the camp kitchen set we designed a number of years ago,
Mhm.
basically because we started going to overland events and we're digging on that and
Those
having some
guys
fun.
constantly.
Now, I was going to say, what's the
Competition.
one thing they do? Bring trucks and cook.
And cook
And
well
Lot.
yeah,
and a lot.
and a lot. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was really surprised.
Oh, it was not. Well, that one time you and Mikey went up to Vermont somewhere, and then they have like a cooking.
It was the
Yep,
yeah, it was
competition.
it competition. Yes.
It was the chef.
The,
Oh yeah.
the muddy
Muddy chef.
yeah.
There you go.
Land Rovers and cooking.
Yeah.
And this was some professional grade stuff out of the back of the Land Rover.
Hey, you got a Land Rover now. How come you haven't gone back up there?
Go to Vermont because I don't know if the transfer case seal would make it to Vermont.
I think they are.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Why
You-
he's not up there?
I think you're right.
Fluids.
You know, you
You
could
got
tow
one
it with
leaky
the
seal, geez.
You have a. I thought you tow it.
I try to.
Okay.
tow it with the van. You got the company logos and your Land Rover.
Sure.
Hey, I'm on. Yeah.
I
Take
think
the
Mike's right. I don't know that event is even around anymore. So.
Well, you,
I
you
thought
could
it
make us
was.
lunch
I don't know.
here.
Somebody
out of the
get
back of
one.
the Land Rover.
But that was a cool event, and
Oh yeah,
kind of, I
big-
think out of that kind of stuff though, we went, hey, we gotta, we can make some kitchen knife stuff. Some
we
camp
know how to
kitchen
do
knife
knives.
stuff.
We should have an offering. Yeah.
So that's what we set out to do, and we came out with the first one, which is the camp kitchen.
Yeah.
And
The
we
main-
designed that around the fact that our Genesis was a popular bushcraft knife.
It has
So-
Genesis handle.
So it has the Genesis handle
Thumb
with a
scallop.
very nice chef's knife blade.
Correct.
Little beefier than maybe a delicate kitchen knife, I would think.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
would
little more
not
woody.
be. I would not be upset having to bushcraft with it just a
Yeah.
little bit.
Right.
Could do it no problem.
Still have the Money Chef in 2023.
Oh, okay.
So what do you have that? That's interesting. I
Well,
we might have to look back into that.
maybe.
You know,
It was in its 12th year.
Oh, let's see. I didn't even know it was that long running.
hook the trailer to the van.
There you got no
put the rover
excuse, man.
on, put on the best chef's knives, and
I guess.
get going. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
all the way from Arizona.
Vermont's close.
New Mexico.
Yeah,
Where'd we get that?
New Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, the chef's knife in the camp kitchen, it does have our Genesis handle. So you have the thumb scallops, then you have like a finger choil, and then
It's an
a
overgrind.
wonderful blade. Yeah, overground. So it's sharpened to the finger.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no heel on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And again, as Brian was saying earlier about you got good rock, everything works here. It's just a great knife. We have sold a number of these through the years. I know I keep seeing them
Lots.
going through, and as Sam will attest, because it's 2 inches tall, it's a bear to grind.
Those are
Another-
of the standard
Yes,
kitchen
it is.
set.
It may be more.
No,
What do you got? 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah. It's a lot of steel removing when we grind this knife.
Of the standard kitchen set, then we have that one is the hardest one to grind.
Yeah. It
I
is.
can now attest to that because I've finished ground a few.
Yeah.
They come through thick so that they don't,
So we don't get
Or-
burp.
and then we
Yeah.
got to take the rest off, and it's a
It takes
challenge.
a minute.
Yeah.
You're probably putting on a new belt when you get done with one.
No, yeah, for sure. That's not surprising.
But that is, I have a knife very similar to that with lime green handles. That is our watermelon knife. And I
Oh,
love that.
I just used ours on a watermelon a few days ago.
Yeah.
It works fantastic for that. This is my man. I have a few of these now myself, but I usually grab this one.
Mhm.
And I actually got two. I have a beater, but I have the nice one in the box on top of the ice box that was the Christmas
That's
night.
Thanksgiving, Christmas night.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
because it's typically always sharp. The beater one I hack through whatever and I just resharpen it here at the shop. But yeah, it's a beastie. It'll do it all. And I wouldn't be afraid to baton this a little bit through something if I got stuck on a survival island with just my camp kitchen knife.
Survival Island.
Yes.
Had it in a neck sheath. and-
Right.
Yeah, Survival Island. If you had your oyster knife, though, you could shuck some
Yeah.
oysters.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep. I would.
Yeah, to me, this one is the classic chef's knife.
Yeah.
And this is, and I know there were some one-offs here and there of chef's knives, and it was always kind of, but this is like the chef's knife. When you think of a chef's knife, this is what you're thinking about. It's got a nice wide blade again to pick up stuff off the cutting board. Just a cool overall knife. And, like all the other stuff, can take a little bit of abuse too.
Mhm.
Not that we want you to
No,
abuse it.
but if you had to.
Right.
My comment on this is because I'm wildly jaded and love this knife. I just want to talk about the fact that the AEBL steel that all of these knives are made of holds an edge amazingly well.
Yes.
Sharpened this knife in probably 6 months, and it's still cut with tomato meats.
Yeah. This.
Dig it.
We failed to mention the steel, and we do use AEBL, And Nick has the knife, so it's like having the talking stick. You can talk about the steel while you have it.
Sure. So ABL is one of our stainless offerings here at the knife shop. The particular one that we're passing around has the orange G10 handles on it, and I am quite fond of that. One I have at home is black canvas micarta, and boy, I'll tell you that aging very nicely. Every time we go to do fajitas or anything like that, this guy comes out with all the chicken, all the pepper. It's a champ. Like, there's a part of me that wants the Paul Rogalski knife to have a little bit more cutting edge. But then I look at this one and I use it. At the same time, I'm like, this does it all. And it does it really, really well. And again, the ABL is just fantastic as far as edge retention. It's a nice blend of stainless characteristic. It's good stuff. Would recommend.
I have two of these. I have one in orange G10 with black liners and one in black micarta. Well, I had two of these. No doesn't around one yet. My father took one and he has never given it back. And he said it is the greatest kitchen knife he's ever used, so I don't believe I'll ever see it.
No, they're not.
Personally, I haven't used it a whole lot. I like one of the other ones a touch better. So the one in my kit that lives in my camping stuff doesn't get a whole lot of miles on it. But I have two.
Sort of.
Ish.
One's on permanent loan.
Yeah.
But again, if you had to have that one, man, a camp kitchen is such a great knife to work from. Such a great knife to work from. This is a nice one.
Don't put any of these knives in the dishwasher. I'm just going to throw that out there right now, please. And if you do, don't tell me because I'll be sad and angry. And
Now, the next knife in the collection is the Traveler. The Traveler is again, I use the Traveler quite a bit at house. It's just one of those. It's a good long knife.
11-inch.
Yeah. Wow, look at you pulling that out. You're looking at the website.
No, I'm not. 5 3/4 inch sharpened edge.
So the Traveler, and it's a really well balanced knife. This is another one of those well used knives at home. I think Elaine may claim that one as her favorite. She likes that one quite a bit.
I have not used the Traveler a ton, I will say, but I've sharpened them all. They come out fantastic. This is more of a traditional, it's ground on both sides and it's sharpened on both sides. So it comes out wicked sharp. I can tell you it's only an 1/8 inch thick to start with. So with this tall of a blade, it sharpens up quite nice. Pretty light, pretty nimble, thin scales, 1/4 inch scales on it. I'd bushcraft that one too if I had to.
that's one of my favorite things about it is it reminds me of the old hickory knives. Sorry,
Yeah.
Brian. I don't mean
No, you're good.
but it's worth mentioning that this is one of those knives that performs just as well outdoors as it does indoors or wherever you're cooking or camping or hiking or whatever.
Yeah, this one is the one that does 95% of the things that we do in the kitchen. So I've got one with a carbon fiber handle, and I will choke up past the handle on it. I know you can't see that, but I'll actually pinch it between my thumb and my index finger knuckle way back, way past the handle. That's how I typically use it. Just something about the size and the shape. It's great for slicing. So instead of chopping, I tend to slice, and it's great for that. It's got that little bit of a belly, but yeah, this is the knife that we do most of the stuff with. Everything except small cutting. And occasionally I'll break out a chef's knife, but yeah, this is by far the one that gets used the most.
I make a lot of salad with mine. That's great. And the one thing that I like about it is when you're holding the blade in your hand, your knuckles do not get the cutting board. There's enough belly to it. You don't knock it.
Yeah, you can get enough cut out of it.
See, I do bump on this one, and that's part of why I like the chef's knife a little bit more. But again, still a fantastic knife. See my remarks previously about taking it everywhere.
I also have two of these. One in orange G10 with black liners and one with black micarta. The orange one lives in the trailer. I really have only used this knife to carve turkey on Thanksgiving Day, and boy, it does it fantastically.
Now, for those of you who think he lives in a trailer, he
My
was
ca- my
referring
my
his
camper. Sorry.
his camper trailer.
He's an overlander, people.
He's an overlander. Yeah. So that.
Lion City on wheels.
So the next two knives in this collection are the large and small powder. We'll start with the large powder. I think someone had asked Elaine at the pouting what what her favorite knife was, and it might have been the large powder. Now that I'm thinking after I picked this up, I see her using this one quite a bit.
It's a good all-around knife.
I don't use this one a lot, and the reason is we'll get to the well, that's probably it. We'll get to Le Fromage in a minute. I'm getting a lot more use out of that, but I like everything about this. This to me is like a personal steak knife on steroids. I really would like sitting that by my plate when you have a really nice steak. You
Makes
know
me
what I
want to
mean?
put one with some nice Bacote scales, maybe
Yeah,
some
like-
red paper liners.
Four.
Right. Yeah, get that steak knife set, that
I wonder.
right on.
It's a very nice
See Christmas 2024.
knife. It's a good size, 9-inch overall, generous handle, but I like the small powder better myself. I use that one a bunch more. That I've used a few times here and there. It's in the kit, it's in the house, but
Yeah.
I like the small personally.
It's interesting. This and the small powder, kind of remind me of the large and small workhorses. They've got
Yes.
that same feel, the same size.
Mhm.
I mean, and I see, and I know we've done this before, but I see this as in a sheath on my belt, carrying it around, do a little camp kitchen, a little work
Definitely.
in the woods. It's a little thin for batoning, but
It'll
certainly
hang on.
would stand
Safe
up.
inch. It'll do it.
So, just a nice carry around size.
George Bushcraft actually did several runs of these as Woods Knot with 3/8 inch handles.
Yeah.
They didn't change anything other than the handle thickness.
Yeah, Casey liked that knife quite a bit.
He sold quite a lot of those. With George Bushcraft.
And didn't we do a specific variant for someone where we swedged it?
Knife Center.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That's right. Where
Yeah.
David got
Knife
the
Center.
Knife Center. Yeah, if you haven't seen those, check out them at their website because those are really cool.
Yeah. So I just so happened to daily driver my large workhorse, which is the knife Brian was talking about, and I whipped it out to compare to the large powder here, and he's quite right. Unfortunately, there's no visual for this podcast, but maybe we'll post up a picture on one of our social medias, and you guys can take a look. But yeah, there's a lot of shared DNA here, and similar to how the large workhorse is an awesome all-around tool, I would say that the large powder. Again, I would have no problem EDCing this knife. It's great in the kitchen. When my wife has the camp kitchen and we're working in the kitchen together, I grab this one and use it. And yeah, I enjoy it. I really like how it feels in the hand as well.
I also have two of these, same colors as before.
Okay.
This used to be my favorite in the kitchen set. It still gets a lot of use, but coming up, I'll tell you which one I prefer more.
If you did want to carry this, it will fit in an M sheath
Or Sam makes a wonderful custom kydex.
or Codex. Yeah.
So the old last knife that used to be in this, because we had a 4-piece set, was the small powder, and that's what
Correct.
we have now. Again, a great little personal steak knife, a bit of a nice paring knife. I think that the pairing aspect of this is
It'll do it.
pretty
Yep.
awesome. So this, again, I use that one probably on fruits more than anything.
Yeah. You know what this is really good for?
Hmm.
Carving your apple.
Yeah.
That's what I do a bunch with it. It's a nice little knife, good size, 6 3/4 overall, 3-inch sharpened edge, and it fits in an A sheath.
Well,
So you can
right
carry
on.
this one on your hip.
You carry it on.
These spines, by the way, we don't sharpen the spines like a normal knife, but we do run the spine of the blade horizontally across the belt. So it does have a little
Right.
bite
It
to it.
will throw a spark on a fire.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just looks more uniform.
Yeah, it's a little soft.
looks classy,
Right.
but it'll get a fire still
Yeah, if
cooking.
you're a person that really likes to choke up and put your thumb on the spine of your knife.
I'd EDC that also if I
Quite
had to.
comfortable.
hmm
Yeah, I wish you hadn't put this in my hand. As the small knife guy, this one with the with the double red handles. This is a really nice looking little knife. I
Yes.
might have to
Oh, that's a good.
We'll sell it.
might have to find a new
All
one.
right.
Oh, guy.
Help
Yeah.
you out.
Yeah, just a neat little knife. Again, for me, it's a good size.
Way out.
Good size for carrying around. It's a nearly 4-finger grip with a lanyard tube on it. Yeah, I could see that for every day, no problem.
Speaking from personal experience, because I did daily driver one of these for quite a long time, in a Kydex sheath that Sam made for me. A little lanyard on the bottom, and it's perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you, Sam.
I
You're
want to
welcome,
give it
buddy.
to Mike. Do I have to give it to Mike?
You can say my thing without even touching the
No,
knife.
you can just hold right to it, bro.
You can just buy it.
The upgrade we made this year to the Redstone Richlight and Black Diamond Richlight was the change that those knives needed to really elevate them, in my opinion.
And looks and yeah, aesthetics.
Looks good.
Yes, I too am quite a fan of the Rich Light. I think it looks very nice on there. It's very classy, and the 1/4-inch pins that we've moved to, I think, also fit that knife very nicely. Am a fan.
I also have 2 of these. I don't know if you're sensing a theme or not.
Something about do you have cheese on here? Or am I jumping?
We're getting there.
Okay, I'll hold my.
So I have 2 of these, and Lauren has her own, so we have 3 of them. So we dessert champion Lauren has her own. We do quite like this knife. It's a great little steak knife. Great for cutting up your fruit. I'll
Yep.
probably own another one before it's over.
Oh yeah, this is
Careful
a
about
nice
the
little
thing.
knife. And then the last and what is the newest addition
is you mean my favorite?
Now this knife has changed my kitchen duties a lot.
Uh-oh.
I use this when I pick it up.
She asks them to cut the cheese.
Man, I mean cheese, vegetables. I've cut the meat strips with it. I really like this knife all the way around. It feels great. It's got a great curve to it. When we did the original cheese knife, it was an inch shorter. And then after getting blocks of cheese from our favorite store, Abel's, I noticed, boy, I could use another inch out here to
So we
to work.
redesigned it.
So we
based off
designed it
the
1 inch
cheese.
longer so it would cut those
cheese
cheese
we were buying.
better.
The Able redesign.
Yeah. So, but this is again, the boning knife is my favorite from this set. This is the most used knife for
Able
me
edition.
in the kitchen, and I have one of these with maple paper rich light on it.
You only
And
have
it is
one?
an awesome.
Jeez.
I have the
Sort of
lime
rookie
green.
numbers.
So depending on
Lime
how the
green one.
conversation goes, I'm gonna be upgrading my kitchen set, but it will be with Terra Tough.
Oh, you're going to tear it up?
Oh, I love the Terra Tough. Let me tell you,
I can see that. Yeah.
a nice yellow Terra Tough on there
For kitchen? Yeah. That could be cool.
All I know about this knife is it sharpens fantastic because it's curved. You can't see this, people at home. It's curved from the plunge line to the tip, and it just seems to follow an arc right around as I sharpen. It's fantastic for that. I do not own a La Fromage, although I have purchased one. For partial trade, Jesse James, please come pick up your La Fromage. Jesse James to the white courtesy phone. Jesse James, white courtesy phone. Come pick up your knife.
Yeah, I don't have a fromage either, but I do love the way this knife looks. The curve and the holes. There's something about the whole part of it looks great.
It screams, let's cut the cheese.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a great looking knife. Very purpose built.
Mike, that is on the website for sale, right? We have it up there. So if you guys are interested, at least go take a look at it. It is a wonderful knife.
Mike's doing weird things, everyone, that we can't see. So please just
This knife.
Take it.
That
you
is.
said to Brian,
Yeah.
see the lady on your way out.
Yeah.
You can change that later.
Yeah.
All of my other shit's black paper.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna get one of these real soon because, again, as the finisher guy, I'm not a huge fan of the holes, and it's because there's a specific process that we use to finish the holes. Now that doesn't take away from anything for the customer. And as far as the user goes, LT and Sam, since you have a dozen of these now?
We're getting there.
Okay, he's got a bunch.
Wow.
All right. Do the holes? Do you feel that the holes really reduce friction for you?
Yep.
Okay, then I'm fine with that. So I'll have to at least.
Also, it's a weight thing, though, too.
Yeah,
And it looks
It's
cool.
very
it
comfortable.
does
It
look
looks
cool.
great.
I like the aesthetic of it for sure. But yeah, So okay, you've sold me. I'll have to buy one.
Yeah, I like that. It is
But
a
yes.
great use.
I'll ask Jenny if she wants green or yellow Terratuff.
I have 3 of these. Well, I have one. Lauren has one, and my father has one.
Another permanent loan.
No, he had jumped in on the red wall and got
Yeah.
a custom one built for him. He liked it so much.
Cool.
This is my favorite knife in the kitchen set as of right now, and it cuts through. I just learned this the other day. An ice cream cake, fantastic,
Nice. See, I love charcuterie, so
isn't it though? I was like, I'm gonna use the cheese knife. Let's see how it does.
It's like
It was
it's like
great. It was
frozen
incredible.
cheese, basically.
I mean, it's
And the ice cream cake was pretty darn good too. So that helped. I
cheesecake. Is that good?
Now I want cake.
Now I gotta make a cheesecake. I'll get back to you.
Okay, research, please.
I will. Yep, I love this knife. I'll have more than the 3 I have.
Yeah.
One in every color.
Now we have a nice Blue Ridge bag, from Blue Ridge Overland Gear, that has built a bag for our kitchens. Purpose built bag with cutting boards and everything to go along with it. This is a great set. You should check the stuff out on the website. This was a good one. I think we could do another one on the kitchen knives and talk more in depth, and even probably bring some stuff in here to
Bring some
Just-
food.
well, just to actually cut.
You should
But
get
we're gonna have to
this.
wait till we get the video back and running a little bit. Yeah. So we're working on
We
have
the
charcuterie.
building expansion, and we have some things in the work. So we will hopefully be bringing podcasts with permanent video, and we'll have a lot going on that we can show you.
Like a studio,
But yeah,
Right.
there you go, like a studio.
Nice.
a little bit.
Well, guys, thank you very much for tuning in today to episode 40. Mike, where can I find our podcast?
That would be everywhere you can find podcasts.
That's right. So go there and look.
How convenient.
We enjoy having you guys come on. Thanks for making us number 1 in Belgium. No, Portugal. No,
If you're listening,
no worry. If you're listening,
Make us
hey,
number 1.
Thank you.
make us number one in
Number one
your
in your
country.
hearts.
Yeah. So we have fun doing it. We usually cut down on Friday afternoon and get it ready to go.
What's the case of sign off?
Ooh,
Dream.
That
Keep
was
reaching for your
feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
yeah.
But
Wow.
that's that,
There-
Boy, we're old. All right.
I don't know.
I don't know who that is either.
Uh-huh. Oh, you got nothing?
There's this.
You young
I
guys.
used to have these boxes in the house called radio.
We'll Google it later, I guess.
Into
The
the
radio in the car, but it's XM, so
right.
There you
That's-
go.
That's different.
So we thank you very much for all your support. Remember, if you get an opportunity, go check out ltwrightknives.com and woodsmonkey.com. We got a lot of cool stuff going on knife-wise and gear-wise over there. Tune in on Instagram for our quote of coffee every morning or YouTube, where we give you a little bit of information. Yeah, we have a great YouTube channel with a lot of reviews going on and a lot of cool stuff. But we thank you all for all of your support. We hope you enjoyed our kitchen knife episode, and we will catch you on episode 41. All right, guys. God bless all of you, and have a great day.
Bye bye.